I hope all of you had a wonderful Christmas, and I hope you guys are all having a terrific holiday season. Whatever you celebrate, just make sure you guys are having and have had a great time with friends, family, even just yourself, just enjoying your time and enjoying everything that this time of the year has to offer. Welcome into Phillies Daily, everybody. I'm your host, Mike Henley. Make sure you guys subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. You guys are much appreciated. As always, you guys know that. Let's dive right into it. Not too much going on in the world of the Philadelphia Phillies right now. Kind of a down period right now. Again, not really too much happening on the transactions areas of the team. Really anything at all. But there's still a lot that could happen here this offseason. And I just wanted to take a minute to talk about JT Realmuto. We all know JT Realmuto was one of the bigger free agents here for the Phillies this offseason. He's been a huge piece of this team ever since they acquired him back in 2019, before that season, I believe it was, from the Miami Marlins in that trade. He's been one of the better, if not best, catchers in baseball for multiple years there when the Phillies acquired him. And he's just been terrific, but he's older now. He's been declining, and he obviously is a free agent right now. Now, we do know that the Phillies do have an offer on the table for JT Realmuto. Obviously hasn't accepted anything yet. He's holding out, I guess, for more money. See if possibly he can get a third year. A lot of reports saying it's a 2-year offer, and that's probably what he's going to get on the market, but could be holding out for a third year or maybe a third year option if that's not included in a potential deal that the Phillies have offered. Now, is him not signing by now? We're already nearing the new year now. It's getting close to the end of December. Sometimes these things drag out. I mean, there's obviously still some big name free agents that aren't signed to a new team or a new contract with their former teams, such as Alex Bregman, Bo Bichette, Kyle Tucker, Cody Bellinger. A lot of big name, high profile free agents still available. JT Realmuto, not quite in that category anymore, but still, is it bad news for a possible reunion with the Phillies? They offered him a contract, and he really wanted to be here to end his career and thinks he can win a World Series championship with this squad. Don't you think he probably would have already accepted that by now? I don't know. That's just my thoughts on the situation. Now, a lot of rumors, a lot of reports saying it's kind of in like the 2 years, $30 million range. I've seen even 2 years, $34 million. So, that's 15, 16, 17, $18 million a year for JT Realmuto on that 2-year contract. In my opinion, that's a little pricey for a guy that's getting older, declining in age, but still, he's a valuable piece of the team, and they don't really have too much other options other than JT Realmuto here for the immediate future and the present right now, moving forward with this team. Now, speaking of kind of like JT Realmuto and his age and his declining in production over the last couple of years, it's kind of a reality check we got to all think to ourselves. Now, we got to put up the emotions to the side because a lot of people obviously love JT Realmuto. A lot of people like to think with their hearts and not with their minds when it comes to their favorite teams, their favorite players. At the end of the day, this is a business. You're trying to put the best product you can on the field and not put yourself in a hole financially or just have somebody that's older, declining, and then all of a sudden he's an issue in your lineup and even in the field because he can't quite move around or quite doesn't just have that same talent that he used to, and that could possibly happen with JT Realmuto. Now, he's a great athlete. We all know what he can do on the field. He's great in the clubhouse and all that great stuff, leader, everything, but still, he is going to be 35 years old throughout the 2026 season, so that's old, especially for a catcher here in Major League Baseball. That position is very taxing on your body. Your knees start to go, your legs, everything, and it's just tough. That's why we see him sometimes even play first base, DH, whatever it might be, but obviously he is pretty much a full-time everyday catcher, but still, you can't really bank on that now being 35 and 36 years old if you have him on a 2-year contract, potentially a 3-year contract. That puts you into the 38-year range, and it's just hard to imagine JT Realmuto being really any good or anything close to what he used to be come the next 2-3 years if he's on a deal like that. How much better does JT Realmuto really make the Phillies in 2026, 2027, the immediate future here? I don't know. Again, that's all the factors that I've already listed kind of play into that. And at this point, I feel like the money that you're going to be paying to him, the commitment you're making to him, just really isn't worth it at this point. Now, I'll be happy to have him back. But again, it's just a lot of money paying $15, $16, $17, $18 million a year to a 35-year-old catcher who is declining both offensively and defensively over the past couple of years now. And he's only going to get worse. You're not going to get much better here as you're getting older and declining already. It's only going to get worse as these years move on if he's signed to a multi-year contract. So, again, try not to think with your hearts, think with your minds, think of this as a business and trying to win a championship. Now, are you going to go for the name or are you going to go for production? That's the big question here. JT Realmuto obviously is the name, might not have the same production anymore, or you're going to get a guy, obviously not a whole lot of options in free agency, but you can make a trade. You have some in-house options here in the organization already that could possibly have better production than JT Realmuto, or even if you're doing a platoon situation type of thing behind the plate, could be better production overall than JT Realmuto on a 2-year, $34-35 million contract, whatever it's going to cost to bring him back. Speaking of the in-house options, again, the Phillies don't have much catching options here in the organization, but who are the options right now? Obviously, at the top of the list, you have Rafael Marchand. He's probably the immediate option if JT Realmuto is not brought back. He obviously was JT Realmuto's backup this past year in 2025. Didn't get a whole lot of playing time just because JT Realmuto is such a big workhorse. He wanted to be in there every day behind the plate, and he pretty much was. Rafael Marchand had very, 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 very limited opportunities all throughout the 2025 season. But Marchand is significantly younger than JT Realmuto. Marchand is 26 right now. He's actually going to be 27 very soon, I think in a few days here. So he'll be 27 throughout the 2026 season as opposed to JT Realmuto's 35 throughout the 2026 season. Rafael Marchand is also a switch hitter, so can bat from both sides of the plate. And he's better probably defensively at this point overall than JT Realmuto. And that's kind of a strength of Rafael Marchand's game is his defense. He's shown some offensive potential in the past over some stints with the Phillies over the years, but again, never really had full or big enough sample size to really show what he can do in more opportunities. Maybe this is finally his opportunity here in 2026 if JT Realmuto is not brought back, and I feel like Rafael Marchand could be the best option here for the Phillies in 2026. Obviously, again, if they don't make a trade for somebody better, again, there's not a ton of options better either on the trade market that you can realistically trade for behind the plate. I've named some options. There's some rumors out there throughout this offseason as well, but realistically, you're probably going to move forward with Rafael Marchand as the kind of 1A, maybe potential platoon kind of guy, but probably the top option if JT Realmuto is not brought back here before the 2026 season. You also have Garrett Stubbs, who's brought back on a split contract here between the minors and the majors for 2026. Veteran presence Garrett Stubbs offers. He's good with the pitching staff. He brings the vibes. We all know he does nothing at the plate, nothing offensively. He stinks offensively. Not a really great player on the field, but again, brings the veteran presence, good with the pitching staff, and brings the vibes to a locker room and to a clubhouse. So he's a good guy to have around, I guess, between the minors and the majors, whatever it may be. If JT Realmuto is not brought back, obviously if Realmuto is brought back, you're probably going to roll with Realmuto as your starter and Rafael Marchand as his backup as it was in 2025. But if he's not brought back, then you have Marchand and Stubbs as probably the two top options at this point. If they don't sign another guy in free agency to bring in and not have to rely on Garrett Stubbs as possibly a starter here for you in 2026, as that would be horrendous. They also have in the minors, not many options, a couple guys who are kind of like lower on their top 30 prospect list. Their top catching prospect is actually Caleb Ricketts. He is a 25-year-old left-handed hitting catcher. He's their number 22 prospect per MLB Pipeline. He's batted .275 across 3 levels of the minor leagues this past year in 2025. However, he did miss some time with injury. He has never played above the AA level, though, never appeared in a AAA game in his minor league career. So you can't really bank on him coming up and making an impact at the major leagues after never playing at AAA, never playing above AA. Now, he did bat .256 with a .303 on base, .399 slug, .702 OPS, 14 doubles, 6 home runs, 27 RBIs, and only 58 games in AA in 2025. Again, missed some time with injury, but I don't know. He's probably your top option in the minor leagues right now at this point. Again, not a lot of production out of him. You obviously would rather have a JT Realmuto in your lineup, but if JT Realmuto is not brought back, if Rafael Marchand doesn't work out, if Garrett Stubbs obviously doesn't work out, and I have no hopes for him at all, then you have a guy like Caleb Ricketts, who is an older guy now at 25 years old. Not old, but older prospect, you could say. And he could come up and maybe give you some innings, give you a platoon situation there behind the plate. He's pretty good defensively from what I've known and seen and read about him. So that's that. Or pretty good offensively, I should say. I don't know about defense. Offensively, I think is his strong suit. So we'll see what happens here, but those are kind of the top in-house options if JT Realmuto is not brought back for the catching position, which leads me into, should the Phillies go after a veteran catcher if JT Realmuto is not brought back here in free agency? Should they sign veteran catcher Victor Caratini? Victor Caratini is younger than JT Realmuto. He's a 32-year-old switch-hitting free agent catcher, so he's switch hitter like Rafael Marchand, can bat from both sides of the plate. He can also play first base, as a lot of catchers do. That is Victor Caratini. He's a 9-year veteran, so he's been around a few different teams. He batted .259 with a .324 on base, .404 slug, .728 OPS, 14 doubles, 12 home runs, 46 RBIs in 114 games with the Houston Astros this past year in 2025. So it's kind of similar production to probably what JT Realmuto had this past year. At this point, he's younger. He's a switch hitter. He can play first base. All that fun stuff. He's a veteran. He's been around multiple teams. And he plays the catcher position, which could help you out if JT Realmuto is not brought back. He will be significantly cheaper than JT Realmuto, obviously is here in free agency, and he could be a platoon option with Rafael Marchand, giving them that veteran presence who has plenty of experience at the major league level and production in the past. And then you have Rafael Marchand, who's your younger guy, who could possibly turn into your everyday starting catcher, but you have this veteran to fall back on and platoon with in certain situations just in case. And then really, again, how much worse is Victor Caratini than JT Realmuto at this point of Realmuto's career? Who knows? Thank you guys for watching this episode of Phillies Daily. I'm your host, Mike Henley. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. You guys are much appreciated as always. Again, not too much happening here in Phillies land, but something could always happen in the blink of an eye, so stay tuned here all offseason long, into spring training, into the regular season, and beyond. I will be breaking everything down for you guys, whether it's news, rumors, anything. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Again, happy holidays. Enjoy your time with friends and family. Remember, friendly reminder that Phillies Daily is only Phillies Monday through Friday during the offseason, so no video over the weekend, either tomorrow or Sunday. We'll be back at it on Monday. Thank you guys again, and as always, go Phils.